Outdoor adventures are full of risks and challenges, but some trips end in tragedy. In this video, we'll explore 5 more real stories of the worst deaths in the history of outdoor adventures. From fatal climbs to deadly expeditions, these are true accounts of what can happen when nature's dangers are underestimated or survival takes a tragic turn. It was September 2023 in the remote wilderness of Banff National Park, Canada. Doug Inglis and Jenny Gusset, a couple from Lethbridge, Alberta, were embarking on one of their cherished backcountry trips. At 62, Doug and Jenny had decades of experience hiking and camping. As a research scientist and lab technician, they meticulously planned each adventure, always showing the utmost respect for nature. They often ventured into Canada's national parks, taking their border collie, Triss, on their journeys. This trip was meant to be another peaceful week exploring the rugged beauty of the park. Banff, nestled in the Canadian Rockies, is famed for its stunning landscapes and vibrant fall colors. But it's also home to grizzly bears, wild animals that demand caution and respect. Doug and Jenny were well aware of this and came prepared with bear spray, proper food storage techniques, and a satellite communicator to maintain contact with family. On Friday, September 29th, as they hiked through the Red Deer River Valley, their day was delayed, pushing their arrival at the campsite into the evening. Doug messaged his uncle, Colin Inglis, informing him of the delay, but reassuring him they were safe and setting up camp. However, just hours later, Colin received an alarming notification from Garmin, the satellite device operator. The message read, "Bear attack bad." Those words sent a wave of dread through Colin as he realized something terrible had occurred. Parks Canada was quickly informed, but adverse weather prevented a helicopter rescue. A specialized response team had to travel on foot, reaching the campsite around 1 a.m. What they found was devastating. Doug, Jenny, and Triss had all lost their lives. Their tent was crushed, and nearby 2 emptied cans of bear spray suggested a desperate attempt to fend off the bear. Despite their expertise and precautions, they were unable to escape the bear's aggression. The bear, an older female estimated to be over 25 years old, was found near the campsite. Exhibiting hostile behavior, it was euthanized to ensure the safety of the team. A necropsy revealed the bear was malnourished, with decaying teeth and little body fat, factors that likely contributed to its heightened aggression. Parks Canada confirmed the bear was not tagged or previously monitored, making it an isolated case. The attack marked the first fatal grizzly incident in Banff National Park in decades. Doug and Jenny were experienced hikers who followed all recommended safety measures. They properly stored their food away from the campsite and carried bear spray. Tragically, these precautions weren't enough. Experts believe they may have inadvertently startled the bear, possibly while it searched for food before hibernation. Such encounters are rare but can turn fatal when a bear feels threatened or is in a state of desperation. Investigators pieced together the couple's final moments. It's believed they were inside their tent, resting or reading after dinner when the bear approached. Personal belongings, including their boots and e-readers, were found inside the tent, suggesting they stepped out quickly when the attack began. The attack was sudden, leaving them little chance to escape. Doug and Jenny's love for the outdoors was central to their relationship. Having met in university, they built a life filled with exploration and a shared passion for environmental conservation. Friends and family remember them as kind, knowledgeable individuals who loved sharing their expertise about plants and wildlife. They weren't just adventurers, they were stewards of nature, deeply connected to the wilderness they explored. This tragedy shocked their community, not only because of its rarity, but also because Doug and Jenny were so well prepared. Colin Inglis summed up the devastating loss, noting that they were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The couple had been planning more adventures, including a hike with their son, which now remains an unfulfilled dream. As their family and friends grieve, Doug and Jenny's memory lives on in the stories shared about their kindness, passion, and adventurous spirit. Their loss underscores the unpredictable dangers of the wilderness, even for the most prepared and experienced. Their legacy is one of love for nature, resilience, and a commitment to understanding the world around them. While questions remain, why the bear became so aggressive and whether anything could have prevented the encounter, Doug and Jenny's story is a reminder of the balance between humanity and the wilderness. It was August 30th, 2022 in Kamchatka, Russia. A group of 12 climbers from Russia set out to conquer Klyuchevskaya Sopka, the highest active volcano in Eurasia, standing at 4,754 meters, or 15,580 feet. Known for its breathtaking symmetry and beauty, the volcano is equally notorious for its treacherous conditions, including unpredictable weather and a mix of steep ice, snow, and volcanic rock. The group, led by 2 experienced guides and organized by the Novosibirsk-based tour company, Extreme Time, anticipated an exhilarating challenge. However, their journey would take a tragic turn. Excited and full of hope, the climbers, hailing from various parts of Russia, began their ascent. The weather started favorably, and the group advanced steadily past a research station at 3,300 meters. But as they climbed higher, the conditions rapidly deteriorated. Snowstorms intensified, and the harsh environment began to test their endurance. By the time they reached 4,158 meters, the situation had become critical. Disaster struck when 5 climbers, including one of the guides, lost their footing and fell while roped together. The steep terrain, worsened by ice and snow, left no room for recovery. Tragically, all 5 lost their lives instantly. Another climber lost consciousness during the chaos, unable to signal for help. Among the survivors, guide Andrei Mishchenko suffered a severe leg injury, compounding the group's struggles. The remaining climbers faced worsening conditions: freezing temperatures, strong winds, and near-zero visibility. Attempts to descend became a desperate fight for survival. 3 of the climbers, including guide Ivan Alabugin, managed to descend further, but their progress was hampered by relentless blizzards. With their clothes soaked and no effective shelter, they were exposed to the brutal elements, and their situation grew increasingly dire. By September 5th, the scale of the tragedy became clear. 2 more climbers succumbed to the extreme cold, bringing the death toll to 8. The group's food supplies dwindled, and efforts to start fires for warmth were thwarted by the unrelenting weather. They were stranded near the summit with no immediate help in sight. Finally, on September 6th, rescue teams reached the survivors. Tragically, another climber had passed away, raising the death toll to 9. The surviving climbers, including one who suffered severe frostbite, were airlifted to safety. The bodies of those who perished were retrieved by helicopter from the frozen slopes of the volcano. The calamity raised serious questions about what led to the tragedy. While Klyuchevskaya Sopka's dangerous conditions played a significant role, investigators also scrutinized the actions of the tour company and guides. Allegations emerged that the group was not adequately prepared for the harsh environment they encountered. Authorities discovered discrepancies in the number of guides relative to climbers and identified issues with safety protocols. Questions were also raised about the decision to continue climbing despite worsening weather conditions. A criminal case was launched against Andrei Stepanov, director of Extreme Time, on charges of negligence leading to fatalities. Investigations revealed that critical safety measures were either incomplete or not properly communicated to the climbers. While the guides had extensive experience, the unexpected severity of the storm appeared to surpass their preparation and judgment. The tragedy highlighted a combination of factors, including the unforgiving nature of the mountain, human error, and poor decision-making. Though the climbers were experienced and hopeful, the unpredictable environment proved to be a formidable adversary. As we reflect on the loss of 9 lives, the story underscores the delicate balance between human ambition and nature's immense power. Would the outcome have been different with better preparation, or a different decision to turn back? These questions remain unanswered, but the survivors are left with memories of a harrowing ordeal that will stay with them forever. In the summer of 1960, 4 teenagers set off for a relaxing camping trip near Lake Bottom in Espoo, Finland. The group consisted of 18-year-old Niels Wilhelm Gustafsson and his girlfriend, 15-year-old Mila Irmeli Björklund, along with 18-year-old Seppo Antero Boisman and his girlfriend, 15-year-old Anja Tulikimäki. Their destination was a picturesque spot by the lake, popular for its serene beauty and a favorite among campers. The trip began as planned. They pitched their tent by the shore and spent the day enjoying each other's company, sharing laughter and drinks. But by the morning of June 5, 1960, the peaceful setting would be replaced by a scene of horror. 3 of the teenagers were dead, and the fourth barely survived, setting the stage for one of Finland's most infamous mysteries. Around 6 a.m., two birdwatchers walking near the campsite noticed a collapsed and slashed tent. They also spotted a man with blonde hair walking away from the area but didn't think much of it. Shortly after, a local passerby discovered the gruesome scene. Mila Bjorklund was found outside the tent, unclothed from the waist down and showing signs of severe injuries. Her wounds suggested the attacker inflicted repeated harm. Inside the tent lay Seppo Boisman and Anja Maki, who had both been stabbed and beaten. The tent itself bore evidence of a frenzied assault, with cuts made from the outside. Niels Gustafsson, the sole survivor, was discovered nearby. He had serious injuries, including a fractured jaw and facial trauma. His account described a sudden attack by an unknown assailant. However, he claimed the attacker had bright red eyes, a detail that added to the mystery. The killer had slashed the tent and attacked the teenagers without entering it. Some of their belongings were missing, including motorcycle keys, but the motorcycles were left untouched. Gustafsson's shoes and parts of his clothing were later found about half a mile away. These strange details puzzled investigators. The police arrived hours later, but the investigation was poorly handled. The scene wasn't secured, and bystanders disturbed critical evidence. Despite these challenges, police began identifying potential suspects. One suspect was Carl Valdemar Gillstrom, a local kiosk owner with a reputation for harassing campers. He was known for damaging tents and confronting visitors near the lake. Witnesses reported seeing him near the site on the night of the murders. Although he allegedly confessed on multiple occasions, authorities dismissed these admissions as unreliable. Gillstrom drowned in Lake Bodom in 1969, leaving unanswered questions about his potential involvement. Another suspect was Hans Assmann, a former State Security Committee (KGB) agent living near the lake. Days after the murders, he sought medical treatment with what appeared to be bloodstains on his clothing and dirt under his nails. Despite these suspicious signs, he had an alibi, and the police didn't pursue the case further. As years passed, speculation grew that Niels Gustafsson might have played a role in the tragedy. In 2004, advancements in forensic analysis revealed traces of blood from the victims on his shoes, but curiously, no blood from Gustafsson himself. This discovery led to his arrest and trial. The prosecution argued that Gustafsson had fought with Boisman on the night of the murders, leading to his injuries and temporary ejection from the tent. In a fit of rage, they claimed, he returned and attacked the group. His shoes were found far from the campsite, possibly to hide evidence. However, the defense countered that his severe injuries made it impossible for him to carry out such an act. The case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence. A witness claimed to have seen an argument between Gustafsson and Boisman the night before, suggesting possible jealousy as a motive. Yet, this testimony came decades after the fact and was deemed unreliable. In 2005, Gustafsson was acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Though cleared in court, suspicions lingered, leaving many unanswered questions. To this day, the Lake Bottom murders remain unsolved. Theories abound. Was the killer an outsider, one of the campers, or even someone entirely unknown? Could the man with red eyes Gustafsson described have been real? The truth of what happened that night has eluded investigators for over 6 decades. The case is now part of Finnish folklore, its unanswered questions casting a long shadow over the peaceful lake. With every passing year, the mystery deepens, leaving us to wonder if we'll ever uncover the truth. It was October 28, 2019, when 47-year-old Tetsu from Japan went on a solo hike up Mount Fuji, Japan's iconic peak. His goal was to live-stream his journey on Nikoniko, a popular video platform under the title, "Let's Go to Snowy Mount Fuji." However, the conditions that day were harsh. Snow had already blanketed the mountain, making the trail slippery and dangerous. Despite this, Tetsu pressed on, wearing only street clothes, with a smartphone and climbing poles as his only gear. At the start of his climb, Tetsu seemed unfazed by the cold. Despite the growing discomfort, he commented that his fingers were hurting, but he had to operate his smartphone. As the live stream continued, viewers watched him navigate the snowy trail, where each step became harder. The snow deepened and the trail steepened, but he carried on, laughing and chatting with his audience as though everything was fine. The higher he climbed, the more treacherous the terrain became. Snow-covered rocks posed significant risks, and the narrow path had no protective barriers. At one point, he acknowledged the mounting danger, recognizing that the place was slippery and getting dangerous. Despite this, he kept moving forward, attempting to stick close to the rocks for stability. As the conditions worsened, Tetsu's focus on his live stream seemed to take precedence over his safety. In a chilling moment, he slipped, and the live stream abruptly ended. The last thing viewers saw was his climbing poles falling through the air. Alarmed, many viewers contacted authorities, prompting an immediate search effort. Rescue teams began their search early the next day, October 29th, combing through the snowy terrain. It wasn't until the following afternoon that they discovered his body near the 7th station of the trail, approximately 9,800 feet above sea level. Authorities confirmed that he had fallen from a significant height, and the fall had been fatal. Mount Fuji, standing at 12,389 feet, is a celebrated symbol of Japan, but also a dangerous challenge, particularly outside the official climbing season, which ends in September. The colder months bring icy, unstable paths, and climbing during this time is strongly discouraged. Authorities had repeatedly warned against off-season climbs, but such warnings were often ignored. Unfortunately, Tetsu's lack of preparation, experience, and suitable gear played a major role in his tragic outcome. He had no crampons, snow boots, or protective clothing to withstand the extreme cold. His streetwear, suitable for city life, left him vulnerable to the harsh conditions. While his climbing poles offered some support, they were no match for the icy paths. Despite his discomfort and growing danger, his desire to entertain his online audience seemed to drive him to continue, ultimately leading to his demise. The incident sparked widespread attention, not only for its tragic nature, but also for the circumstances. It raised questions about the risks of prioritizing online fame over personal safety. Live streaming dangerous activities can captivate audiences, but it can also encourage risky behavior. In Tetsu's case, his focus on not disappointing his viewers may have clouded his judgment, leading to fatal decisions. In the aftermath, the tragedy also highlighted the risks of modern technology. Broadcasting his climb in real time meant that his final moments were witnessed by viewers who could do nothing but watch. It underscored the dangers of sharing high-risk activities online without prioritizing safety or preparation. Following the incident, Tetsu was posthumously awarded the 2020 Darwin Award, given to individuals whose actions result in preventable fatal outcomes due to poor decision-making. His lack of preparation, awareness, and appropriate gear made him an example of the dangers of underestimating nature. Could this tragedy have been avoided? Many believe that better preparation, turning back when conditions worsened, or prioritizing safety over entertainment could have saved his life. The story also is a grim reminder for adventurers to respect nature's unpredictability and to approach challenges with the necessary caution and preparation. Mount Fuji, though beautiful and culturally significant, is not to be underestimated. Even experienced climbers face risks, and those attempting the ascent without proper equipment or during hazardous conditions put themselves in grave danger. Tetsu's story is a sobering example of how failing to prepare and ignoring safety can have devastating consequences. It was August 10, 2024, a sunny summer day in the Italian Apennines. Valentina Fino, a 31-year-old nurse from Bologna, was enjoying a hike with her boyfriend, Andrea Pedata. The couple often spent their free time outdoors, sharing a love for nature and hiking. Valentina was deeply dedicated to her work with cancer patients, but found peace in nature. Hiking and exploring Italy's picturesque landscapes brought her joy. Andrea, 34, shared her passion for the outdoors. Over the years, their bond grew stronger through shared adventures. That day, they chose the Pietra Tagliata Pass, a challenging trail in the rugged Apennines. Known for steep climbs and stunning views, the trail required skill and experience. Valentina, confident in her abilities, climbed effortlessly. Andrea filmed her ascent, capturing a moment of calm determination. In the video, Valentina was focused, her movements precise as she scaled the cliff with the help of secured metal wires. She seemed at ease, unaware of the tragedy that would soon follow. Later, as they descended the Barbarossa Trail, a notoriously difficult route with sharp turns and narrow paths, Valentina lost her footing. Andrea later recalled hearing her scream and seeing her fall. She slipped and fell approximately 328 feet down the ridge. The fall was sudden and devastating. Andrea could do nothing but watch, helpless. Despite his shock, Andrea immediately tried to reach her. He hurried to the base of the ridge, but by the time he found Valentina, it was clear that she had passed away from severe injuries. Andrea was heartbroken, reflecting on the many plans they had for the future: trips, adventures, and a life together. Emergency responders were alerted right away. Rescue teams, including police and firefighters, arrived with helicopters to recover Valentina's body. The rugged terrain made their efforts challenging, and it took several hours to bring her back. Valentina's sudden death left those who knew her in deep grief. Andrea, her partner of several years, was left to face an unimaginable loss. Friends, family, and colleagues mourned her passing, remembering her as a compassionate nurse and a joyful, adventurous soul. Her funeral was held at the parish church of Santa Maria Assunta in Borgo Panigale, where loved ones gathered to say their final goodbyes. Andrea reflected on their relationship, recalling the plans they'd made and the memories they'd shared. Their future together had seemed so full of promise, but it was taken away in an instant. Valentina's passing was a tragic accident, but such incidents are not uncommon in the hiking community. The Alpine and Speleological Rescue Team reported over 10,000 rescue missions in 2022, many involving similar falls. Hiking is a rewarding activity but carries significant risks, especially on challenging terrain. Andrea spoke of Valentina's adventurous spirit and her love for the outdoors, finding some comfort in knowing she was doing what she loved most. Valentina's story reminds us of how fragile life can be. One moment we're making plans, and the next everything can change. Her life, though cut short, was one of purpose, passion, and love. She touched many lives through her work, her family, and her partner, leaving behind a legacy of kindness and strength. Andrea, while grieving, holds on to the memories of their time together. Though her absence is painful, her love for life and the outdoors continues to inspire those she left behind.